Hello and welcome back to In the Kitchen with Pen, and today I am making a beef stew, and you've seen me make a beef stew before, but today I'm making it in the Soooo pressure cooker. So and I've got one ingredient that's completely different, so I'll get the ingredients and show you. So, a beef stew, obviously we need beef. So I've got some beef chunks there. I've got just a couple of shallots, some of my nemesis in a stew, swede, love it raw, as you all know. Some carrots, a little bit of celery, some frozen pearl onions. We're going to add some garlic, some pepper, some salt, a little bit of Maggi seasoning, and I've got to go and get, because I'm a wally and I forgot it, something else. Right, here's what I've got my pressure cooker on saute at the moment, and it's just gone off the top, but it's hot enough. The ingredient I forgot was some ale. No idea what this ale is like, but it will go in the stew. Actually, I suppose I should taste it, shouldn't I? Yeah, just in case it's well, not good. Let's have a little. Ooh. Oh, it smells good. No, I'm not a total Neanderthal. I will go glass. Right, well, let's see what this is like. This is from Fortnum Mason's, don't you know? It was in a hamper that was bought for us for our wedding last year. Oh, do you know what? That is like going back into the pub in the 70s, 60s, 70s. It's got that smell. So I used to go to the Hop Garland in Hemel Hempstead. It was near my nanny's and granddad's house, and they had a little bit. You went in and you've got the public bar one side, the saloon bar the other, and they'd got a little counter where you could get arrowroot biscuits. Anyway, I digress. Not sure how much that's going to go in there. Anyway, my secret ingredient, my different ingredient today is a piece of oxtail. Now, oxtail used to be really cheap, and it'll add another level of flavour to this stew. Okay, it'll fatty and unctuousness. It's just beautiful. But as I say, it used to be really cheap. This week we went to the butcher's. I picked up 2 pieces of oxtail that size. Okay, I mean, they're a substantial piece, but 2 pieces that size aren't going to make a stew, are they? No. So I've frozen one for another stew. £8.65. But I know it's cheaper at the supermarket, but if we don't use our little local shops, we will lose them. So anyway, let's carry on. Come on over and we'll start cooking this. Right then, our pressure cooker, as you know, is on sear saute, and we know it's hot enough, and I've sprayed it with a little oil. So I'm going to go in with the oxtail itself. And you can hear it sizzling, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to get that browned on all sides, and once it is browned I will come back to you. Actually, while that's browning, I've got a bowl of flour here, and I've crumbled an oxo cube into it, so it's now seasoned flour, and I'm going to put my beef into this. Now, the reason is twofold. I will get some the flavour stick, and it will give us an extra thickener for the stew, and also this will protect the beef, if you like, give it a crust, because I'm going to seal the beef too. I know many people don't, but honestly, if you seal your meat before you pressure cook it or cook it in a casserole, however you want, you will get, it locks in the flavour. It just will be so much nicer. Yeah, I could have chucked this all in raw. It would have been an okay stew. It really would. But searing, as I'm going to do, searing and sealing will just make it that much better. So there you go. There's our meat all covered, ready to sear and seal. And you can hear, there we go, we're getting there. But as I say, I'll come back when that's done. Right, let's take a look at this. As you can see, I'm just taking the lid off, just to keep the heat in there. Okay, we're browning quite nicely. I'm going to leave it in there actually, and I'm going to go in with the rest of our meat. So I'm going to take each piece one at a time and pop it in. I think I'll spray some more oil. And this is just avocado oil, as you know, from the Evo sprayer. And also another thing, when you are having a stew, you don't want tiny piddly little bits of meat. You want to be able to taste the meat. So what we tend to do is buy a piece of meat and cut it ourselves, and then that way we can cut it into the size of chunks that we want. Because sometimes when you buy the ready cut, nothing wrong with it, but it can be, you know, you can get some bits that are quite tiny, can't you? So there we go, that is our meat in there and browning. And no, I'm not going to throw that away, because I may need to add some of that, its flavour, to the stew to thicken it up. So we'll just get on and we will brown these. And if you look, you can see that our meat is nicely seared. So I'm going to take that out, and all I'm doing is I'm just putting it in a colander. No, it's not a colander, is it? It's a sieve over a bowl. And now we can go in, whoops, with our vegetables. So let's just move this to one side. And we'll go in with our harder vegetables first. So that's our swede and our carrots. It's good to get this swede in there, because all I'm doing is eating it. And then Steve will moan that there's none in his stew, his casserole. So again, we're just going to leave those in there, then we'll go in with the softer veg and come back to you. Oh, actually, I am going to put in some potatoes. So this is a one pot wonder, and I'm using some Anya potatoes. They're quite a funny shape, but they give a real nuttiness. They don't give a real nuttiness, they've got a nutty flavour. They're just really good in a stew. So I'm just going to chop some of these up and pop these in. Right then, everything's had a little bit of a sear, so we're going to go back in with our meat. Get everything out of there and give everything a good old stir around. And now we're going to season. So I'm going to go in with lots of garlic powder, not salt, as in not garlic salt. We're going to go in with some white pepper. Why white pepper? Because I got it out. You can use black pepper, doesn't matter. And we're going to go in with some salt. And I'm just using table salt today. And I don't want too much salt because remember I seasoned the flour in a stock cube, so there will be salt in those. And then we're going to go in with the usual suspects. So we have a teaspoon of parsley, the same of sage, the same of rosemary, and can you guess? Think of a song. Parsley, sage, rosemary and thyme. Oh, I have to tell you, already this smells amazing. Right, so we know that in here we have our oxtail, our beef, our shallots, our carrots, our pearl onions, our swede, and of course our onion potatoes. So I'm going to go in with a little bit of the ale now, because I don't know if you can see, there's some bits on the bottom here, and if we go in with just a little liquid, we can scrape all those bits, because that's where your flavour is, all those bits on the bottom off. Gubbins, as James Martin would call them. And we'll go in with our beer, and this is really, really good stuff. I am impressed. Now, what I've done with some of the flour that was left, I've put it into a small bowl and I've added some of the beer. So I've got a paste that I can add later to thicken if need be. Right, I'm going to save that little drop for me. So I'm just going to come in now with a little bit, probably don't need it actually, but just a little bit of water. And do I. Let's add a stock pot just for a little bit extra flavour. We've got a beef stock pot there. Oh, that's nice and dark and rich and unctuous. So, that's it. We're now going to put the lid on and switch this across to pressure cook. Did you spot what I forgot? Forgot me Maggi seasoning. I'm using this today instead of Worcestershire sauce, only because somebody said, oh, do you use Maggi seasoning? And I do, but I've never shown you me using it. So my Maggi has gone in. So I'll give it a stir and try not to land up with it all over me like I just did. Right, so that's it. It does smell jolly nice already. So let's now set it to pressure. Right, so I need to pop on my lid. Remember, line up the two orange buttons, slide across, it automatically goes to seal. I need to select pressure cook, and I am going to cook this for 25 minutes. I am leaving the keep warm on because I am not going to release the pressure straight away. With meat, it is always best to release the pressure naturally, and that way the sinews in the meat itself, they're kind of like this, okay? And then you let it relax naturally and they just soften up completely. So that's why. So now press start. And that will do its thing, and we'll be back when it's done. Right, pressure cook finished over an hour ago, but it's still been keeping warm, and obviously the pressure has all released naturally. Our pin has dropped, so I'm just going to take off the lid. But before I do that, I'm going to move you so you can see. Well then, let's look together. And we shall take, oh, what a beautiful colour that looks. So let's give it a little stir, and you can see there's a little bit of oily film on top. That is from the oxtail. Oh wow, that looks really delicious. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to put it onto saute and press start, and as it starts to bubble, remember the thickening mix I made with the seasoned flour and some of the beer. That's going to go in and thicken this up. And look, I'm just going to get excuse me, a saucer, and I'll put, if I can get hold of it, the oxtail onto it, and then we'll just pull it apart because it should be as soft as anything. Right, it's difficult doing it with just in one hand. Lift that slightly. And right, I've just got 2 forks, and look, the oxtail is just shredding really, really easily. And I don't know whether you can hear it, but the casserole itself is starting to bubble. So I'm going to go in with the thickener. Give it a jolly good stir. This looks so strange being beer. And that has, I think you can see, started to thicken up immediately. Oh, that looks so good. Right, I'm going to finish shredding that, pop it in, and we'll be back for the taste. Well, you've seen how it was made, you've seen how it looked in the pot. Here's how it looks in the bowl, and I just think it looks amazing. Oh, it smells delicious, but we want to know how it tastes. So first off, look at that piece of meat, okay? That's a piece of the beef because the oxtail just shredded. Right, and I just need my spoon to taste it. I don't to taste it, to cut it. I don't need a knife, I don't need a fork, just a spoon. So I've got some of the meat and some of the gravy. I remember the gravy was a stock pot and some beer. That's lovely. So now I'm going to have some of the veg. So I've got a piece of potato, some carrot, there are some onions in here somewhere, Now all on the plate, on the fork now. There you go, there's a bit of the onion. Well, actually that was probably shallot butt, and that's what it looks like. Excuse me while I dig in. That is really temperature hot. But that bowl of deliciousness, oh my god, look, that, if I can get it, is some of the oxtail. And it is, as I say, it's just shredded. There we go. So, and it adds a thickness to the stew. Flavour that's difficult to comprehend. Right, now what would be lovely are some dumplings. And dumplings we shall have, because this stew, although I've tasted it today and I've made it today, I am going to allow to cool. So let me just switch off. It's going to cool overnight, and then I'm going to reheat it in here on slow cook tomorrow, and we're going to have it with some delicious dumplings. And you never know your luck, I might actually show you the dumplings. But for now, I don't really want to eat too much because I won't eat my dinner, but it tastes so nice. So for now, 10 out of 10. Thank you for watching this episode of In the Kitchen with Pen. Any comments? Write them down below. If you've liked the video, give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and please tell all your friends, and I'll see you again very soon in the kitchen with Pen. Bye bye.